Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Let's get the stuff out of the box, see what we've got and see what we need to do. I'm pretty old school. I like to have a manual. So I'm going to go away now, download the PDF from the HobbyKing website and print it. I like printed manuals. I can also scribble all over them, and when I do a maiden I actually document the date, time, weather conditions, what happened, what I need to change, and that goes on to the build instruction manual, and it's basically an historic record. Okay, let's go get the printed assembly guide.
Soon after.
I'm back, and here's the printed manual, instruction manual with ORX stabilizer. Now I'm going to be using this, focus on it, which is a Spectrum AR 620. I register all of my Spectrum kit on the Spectrum site, so this is registered, and lo and behold I registered it today and there was an update available. So this is the latest updated version that will be used in here. Let's put it there. So we're going to stick the wheels on. And they basically just push into there. Now that's quite, I mean, it's quite a good fit. It probably wouldn't fall out. But I am going to use this little hole here to pop one of the provided screws in. Alright, there's the screw. As you can see, it's got a pressed out washer on it. It's all one part with the screw, and that washer just nicks, it just presses down on the undercarriage wire to hold it in place. I'm going to try and do it so I don't get in the way of the camera. There we are. How's that? Oh yeah. It's such a tight screw that you have to support the wing from underneath because it's exactly where the kink is. But that's done. Now this will be a bit harder to see because the screw's on this side. Might not be. And don't forget, if you've got these, that little C-clip can pop off. The nuts are only there as a spacer, they don't actually hold anything on. Just put a tiny dab of foam tack or Yoo-hoo pour over it, just a tiny dot, and it will dry hard enough to hold that in place. Just going to push this in. That's it. Let's see if we can get this in there. Oh, it's not as easy on this one because of the angle. Oh, there we go. Now that's started. I'm going to have to take it away because although this does fit, it can slip and you have to apply a lot of pressure. So let me take it away and do that, and we'll bring it back. There we are. Now they're screwed down, but the pressed out washers aren't big enough. Look. I mean, it won't come out, but it's not holding that down. I'm going to start with the central tanks and work outwards. Here's one tank. Basically what I need to do is to clear off this. I don't know how thick it is, but I'm going to sand that away. No, so that needs to come off, and I also need to take it away from in there. And that means that I'm gluing to foam, because I'm going to use Yoo-hoo pour or foam tack, whatever I've got around. I think I've got a little tube of foam tack. And you don't want to glue paint to paint, because this paint will flake, and therefore you haven't got a good bond. So just clean the paint away, foam tack it or Yoo-hoo pour it, and you're good. It's not going to come off, mind you. If you want them to be able to come off, you could push fit them, or you could even use a bit of double-sided tape. But I'm going to stick mine on because so far everything I've had from HobbyKing in the 750mm range have flown superbly with all the ordnance. Let me go away and do that and I'll show you what it looks like. And that's what it looks like. No, I'd lie, I haven't glued them in place. I'm just test fitting, which is an important part. That's what it looks like. You can see I've taken off the paint on the areas that need to be glued. I've done the same with this one. What's going to be important is to make sure you've got the glue on these parts and the base. It also forces these tanks to sit at an angle, and they're angling, is that where you go fishing? The angles are inwards if you're not careful. Can you see that? So you have to, I suggest, glue one at a time and glue it in, hold it in, wait until it's set. I've looked at my glue situation and I happen to have an open tube, small tube of foam tack. So I'm going to be using this. It's more than enough to do the whole job actually, including the little rockets. I'm just going to leave that for a few minutes. The way I like doing it, using foam tack, I like to get the string, get the stringiness out of the glue. I will try and orientate this so you can see that. Let's try and glue it this way. Okay, so we're just going to fit this briefly, snug it in, move it around a bit, and then pull it out. Nothing. Pull it out. There you are, it's starting to string. We'll just leave it a little bit longer. You can clear it up around the edges. I'm going to have to take it out of camera shot because I've got to angle it up, make sure it's straight when I apply it. And we'll do that now. Oh, that's good. I don't know if you can see that, if it's going to focus on it. That's one of them. Try and keep it straight rather than coming in at an angle. If you try and put it into the wing so it's straight on the underside, it's going to come in at an angle. So you've got to let one side isn't as far in as the other side. So this is the side that's not as far in as this side, and you get a straight or straightish result. So I'm going to leave that there for now. There's no weight on it, as I said, so I don't mind leaving it like that. Leave it for 5 minutes, let it cure a little bit, then we'll do the second one. Okay, that should be good. That's how confident I am about it, look. That's excellent, excellent. Now we move on to the other one, exactly the same process. So here. I could have taken more paint off here by the looks of it, but this will bind well enough to hold it in place. That a few minutes. So I've literally just pushed that in. See, they're in line. If you don't control it, it will look like that, and you don't want it looking like that. You want it looking like that. Well, I want it looking like that. You can have it however you want it. Right, so again I'm just going to leave that, let it cure. 5-10 minutes should do the trick. Next we'll do the rockets. The thing about the rockets is they are on a plastic base, and I'm not sure Yoo-hoo Pour or foam tack sticks to plastic. They're stuck. There you go. No problem. And they're pretty straight. I'm happy with that. Now the next thing we've got to do, oh blimey, I almost forgot. One of the most important things when you're modelling, and it's almost as important in getting it right as it is getting the centre of gravity right on an aircraft, and I almost forgot it today. Let's get a nice cup of tea. Cheers. That's what you need. That is so important. Or coffee if you're a coffee person. Right. These are plastic. This is foam. I'm not sure how foam tack will react to this plastic when you push it in once I've cleared the paint off, because that goes like that, and then you get another one that goes there. I will be using, what will I be using? Foam Safe CA for this, with an activator. But as with the tanks, I will clear away these areas. Let me go away and do that, then we'll come back. So there we are, I've scraped the paint away. The tool I'm using to do it is a modelling file, because it happens to be the exact fit, or an easy fit, and very lightly you just rub. Don't apply any pressure or it will take more than the paint away or bite into the foam, but it works really well for me, and that's pretty good. It doesn't have to be exact 100%, but that's good. You have to select your rockets. Now the fit wasn't particularly brilliant when I tried it before. Yeah, these plastic bits are a bit big. They do stick out a tiny little bit raised up, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to be using Zappo Foam Safe CA. There's many other brands of Foam Safe CA, of course, that one can use, but I'm using the Zap brand. You see, it's glossy. That's where the CA is. And I'll put a tiny 1-2 spray over there. And I can't do this with you watching because it has to be done very quickly and very accurately. I'm pushing those on, and then I'm just applying slight pressure where they're over those mounts. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat. Because if I didn't, I'd break the foam rockets. It's done. This piece here will evaporate off. So it's come from this kicker or activator. Oh, it's lovely tea, lovely hot tea. So we're going to do this again with this one. Let's get it in focus. There we are, just a smear a bit over there. Do the same on this part. It may well be that Yoo-Hoo Pour and Foam Tech is perfectly safe for this, perfectly good. There we are. Now if you wanted them to come off, then just use double-sided tape. That looks pretty awesome underneath. I've got to do the other side. I won't video that because you've just seen how it's done, but I'll show you the result afterwards.